Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and in today's video I just want to show you how I would wire a lighting circuit. I've got a couple examples here, and this is with single pole switches. It's important to remember that not every zone or area or part of the world follows the same electrical code, so it's important to check with your local code advisory boards or whoever, pull your permits that you need, all that kind of stuff if you're going to do this project as a DIYer. Because in some areas they won't allow you to do it as a homeowner and you have to hire an electrician. And by all means, if you're not comfortable with anything that I show you here, hire an electrician, because this can be life-threatening. So a little disclaimer there. So anyways, back to the lighting circuits that we've got here mocked up on this board. As I mentioned, they're these are two different examples. They're both for single pole switches. So that means that the lighting circuit can only be controlled by one switch. Okay, you don't have a switch or two switches in different locations that control it, just one switch. And again, this is one example, this is another way. The reason I've got two examples is because there's two ways you can do this. You can do it, we're going to start at the top, you can do it where the power supply, which is this brown line, is coming to the switch before it goes to any lights. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. So you've got your power coming in. Also, one new regulation that many areas are following now as well is making sure that you've got a neutral wire at the switch location, at every switch location. So that's the way I've done this one up. So you've got power coming in, which if we look inside here, that's this line right here to the switch. And I've got the power disconnected, just so you know, because you don't want to be touching this if you got live power. Okay, so power coming in. When the switch is tripped, the power would then go through this other black wire around to here and to your first light. Now at the first light, for this type of light, you normally would have it pigtailed. Pigtailing is a matter of putting your positive wires together and then just allowing an extra loop coming out to hook to the actual lighting. And all this does is if there's a problem in this light down the road, power would still continue on to all the other lights. If we simply came into the light right on its mounting screws and then left the light, if something happened here, there's a chance that if this light buggered up, then everything down the road is going to possibly not work. So pigtailing kind of gets you around that. Okay, so here's one light. I said here's the power coming to the light, right? Here's our neutral, obviously. Now, because our power supply coming from the switch is here and it's threaded together, that means it's automatically going through this black wire, which is continuing on down the line to any other lights you have. At your very last light on the line, basically you're just going to have black going, your hot wire going to the hot terminal or hot wire, and then your neutral going to the neutral. Okay. Now, also, as important as anything is all the grounding needs to be correct. So if you look in every box, there's a ground wire coming out from the supply, and it's going to be hooked to any other ground wires that are coming into that box. And the ground wires are these bare wires back here. Normally they won't have any kind of plastic on them. If they do, it might be green, but generally they're going to be bare. This bare copper you see right here, if I can pull it out. Okay, so that's your ground wire. So any grounds coming into junction boxes or electrical boxes like this need to be twisted together. Some areas might ask for them to be threaded as well, or a wire nut like this. And they also should be attached to the box itself. Now on a lighting circuit in most areas, the ground does not have to be hooked to the switch, but again, just depending where you are, yours may have to be. In our case, it doesn't need to be grounded to the actual switch. Okay, so that's in there. In a lighting circuit, this type of light here doesn't actually get the ground attached to it. All the grounds are in the box and hooked together, as well as hooked to the box through one of these grounding screws here. Some boxes will actually have a green screw, and these are just zinc. On a typical light fixture, a fixture that you have finished in your home though, it's going to have either a ground wire, usually green, coming off of it, or a terminal to hook to that's ground. This just being a basic socket doesn't actually have a grounded position. Okay, so that's that one there. Again, I didn't go into any detail on how your wiring actually is run, stapled, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, basically all you need to know for this in general is you should have 14 2-wire, 14 gauge 2-wire, and that's pretty standard, but again, check your local codes. Okay, so this example here was power coming in and originating at the switch. This example down here, we've got power coming in originating at the end light, the last light on your circuit. Okay, so again, this is a little bit different because we've got 14.2 coming in as a power supply, and that's one of these black lines here. So that's my actual positive power. Here's the neutral. So as the power comes in, we've actually got to send it all the way to the switch before it gets to any lights. So really, the black current is going to follow through, or the positive current, I mean, is going to follow through the black wires the way I've done it, all the way back to wherever your switch is. And then once it comes to the switch and the switch gets turned, in my example, the power is going to enter the lights in a red wire. Okay, so that means we're going to need 3-wire 14.3 cable from the switch between all the boxes in order to do that, so we have enough cables in there to do it. Okay, so simply black is coming in as power, it's leaving this first light, it's going to the next light, it's passing or bypassing the light again because we got to get it to the switch first. Way it goes over to the switch, here it is coming into the switch, and that'd be in the off position. So power's coming in from the source, switch the switch, now it can come back and head back to all the lights in the red wire. So it's coming in here, we've got a pigtail. This could be red wire, it doesn't really matter. I've just had black, so that's what I use. So it pigtails over to the light. The second red wire is going back to another light or whatever. So, and then at your very last one, it's very similar like what we had up top. You just need a hot wire and a neutral wire, and everything's done. And same idea, all your grounds are always done basically the same way. Okay, and as I mentioned on the above example, you can see here we've brought the neutral line as well all the way over to the switch. So we had neutral here, and they just simply loop through, and we've got a neutral over here. And the reason for that is if you ever add a dimmer or timer or something like that, most of them require a neutral. So that's a rule that is needed in some areas. So really simple. So I'll just plug this sample board in. I guess I had the switch on up there on both of them. So we've got our switches functioning, you can see. Okay, I'm just going to unplug that again. So again, whenever you're doing electrical, make sure you have the breaker off. In fact, usually the supply to the breaker is the last thing I'd ever hook up. So, but for sure, if you're changing a bulb or changing a switch, just make sure your power is turned off right at the breaker box. Okay, so I think that's basically time to wrap things up. As always, we love it if you click the little thumbs up icon there on the bottom of the screen if you liked what we did. That helps out our ratings quite a bit. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter. Go check out our Patreon page if you want to give us a little donation, all that kind of stuff. And for sure, check out our channel and subscribe. You get to see all our videos, everything's free, and it's all awesome if you ask me. Thanks for watching.